Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome
guys.
to the B stream here on Take TV Black. I'm Orange, and I'm casting here with Lily Amanda.
Hey guys.
So we're gonna cast MrYagut versus Gaara in the. I don't know if it's the losers or the deciders match, but it's losers. So the loser of this is out. The winner of this has another shot to still be in it for the top 16 that's being played on Saturday. And we're right into game one. Yagut is on the warrior, what seems to be a dragon warrior, versus Gaara's Renologue. We have not yet able to see Gaara's hand, but I guess we'll get that soon enough.
Hopefully very soon. We're just waiting for Gaara to... Yeah, good.
Yeah, but so far we can see that Gaara has, or MrYagut here has a pretty good hand. A lot of good minions, like Frothing Berserker is definitely the MVP against Renologue, because the only real good answer that Renologue has to the Frothing Berserker is the Shadow Bolt. We even seen Renologue's lately been teching Soulfire just to be able to handle this Frothing Berserker, because in a deck that's like so low on spot removal, Frothing Berserker can very easily get out of hand and just... I've seen games being decided just where Frothing Berserker, even post Reno, like a Frothing Berserker hits them for over 10 and like they still lose the game kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. But then there is not too bad of Gaara getting the ooze in so early.
Yeah, Gaara has a great start here. Like ooze into Bran is as long as if you're being able to like keep the board versus warrior, that's the way you win it as Renologue. I think that warrior is slightly favored in this matchup only because it very easily runs away with the board against Renologue.
Yeah.
But we see here Gaara with a great hand. It has Kazakus, which is one of the stronger cards coming from Mean Streets of Gadgeous, and even gets to get us off
Bran
with
on the
Bran
board at
here.
the same time makes it even better.
Yeah, I think I've very rarely seen games lost as the Renologue when it gets like Bran off together with Kazakus.
Yeah, because what I've seen from Kazakus, when you get Kazakus with Bran, not only do you get two of the spells, but the one spell that changes every minion into sheeps.
Yeah.
Pisses me off, man.
You've lost it out a couple of times, I can imagine.
A lot of times, actually, and it makes me cry every time. Feels bad. But we see here he picks up a 5 mana spell.
Yeah, first of all, I think this is the first potion that's being made, is the 5 mana spell. Usually what you want to get of that, like, especially in this matchup, is the one that deals direct damage. So for the 5 mana spell, it's either 5 to a minion or 4 to each minion, which is against the warrior that has a lot of these Frothing Berserkers, Blackwing Corruptors, Asher Drakes. It's a great mode, and the one that transforms a minion that's also at 5 can be pretty amazing. He shoots a 5 mana, 1 mana. Usually this matchup doesn't really get. It's decided by the turn each player gets to 10 mana. So. Yeah.
But still, MrYagut got a good trade there. Still has a taunt on the board. What would you play in this situation?
In this situation, the 5/5 in dealing 4 to everything is a great tempo play from Gaara. But being protected by the taunt, I would probably just play the Draconid Crusher here. Considering that all of MrYagut's other plays are being swept away by, say, Hellfire or a Demon Wrath.
Okay.
Along those lines. Yagut chooses to get a little bit more wide with the board by choosing Fairy Dragon and Alexstrasza's Champion and be a bit more aggressive. That doesn't open him up to stuff like Siphon Soul as much. And also the Polymorph Potion, as you mentioned earlier. The one that transforms a minion into a 5/5.
Yeah.
But it's a close call. Also, you can... seeing here how Gaara chooses to go with the life tap, it means that his Draconid Crusher is going to be a 9/9 for next turn.
Yeah, and Gaara managed to clean the board up here. So, I mean, that's good for him. What else is he gonna do but play the Crusher this turn? And a small time Buccaneer.
The Crusher is so weak, though, because your opponent has 8 power on board. It means that any 1 damage spell, say, well, we see the Mortal Coil in Gaara's hand, but it's also the Hellfire, the Demon Wrath, things we mentioned earlier. Even, like, actually a card we have not seen a lot lately since the nerf is the Big Game Hunter there from Gaara.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. We haven't seen the entire tournament, actually, I believe.
No, I don't think I've seen that card even once since it was nerfed. I actually seen it in some old Reno Locks list, but lately people have been replacing Big Game Hunter with, say, things like Blast Crystal Potion, which I think are better choices, but seeing how Flame Feeder Faces is coming back into the metagame, maybe Big Game Hunter has a spot in Reno Lock again.
Maybe.
But instead, MrYagut stays consistent with his game plan of going wide with the Small Time Buccaneer, one of the MVPs of the last set, and Fairy Dragon.
Yeah, absolutely. But it looks like MrYagut had kind of an awkward opening of the whole game, really.
Yeah, it really
He's
looks...
been playing a little bit off curve, and it's been
the way
not too good.
Yeah, the way you want to play this as the Dragon Warrior is by overpowering the Reno Lock with your big minions, say the Draconid Crusher, but the thing you need to do is to have multiples of them. With like 1 Draconid Crusher, there's just like you're 1 Siphon Soul or 1 Blast Crystal away from being blown out of the game. But if you have several of them, you can actually just like start dealing enough face damage, say after Arena Jackson hits the board, so it's not as relevant. But with only 1 of them, I think this is a matchup that's favored for Dragon Warrior as long as the Dragon Warrior prepares for it. But if you don't really keep Reno Lock in mind when you build the Dragon Warrior deck, Reno Lock is slightly favored.
Yeah, that's true. And like the Draconid Crusher is a good answer for the 8/8 that Gaara just put out.
Yeah,
He's still got Mortal Coil to deal with it and get some value, but he's playing the Big Game Hunter here.
Yeah,
that
Gaara
we haven't
is
seen all tournament, really.
Yeah, it looks great here. It's much better than, or well, slightly better than something like Siphon Soul, because it also gets to play this Misra Mixtures at the same time.
Exactly.
But this is a great point for Gaara to turn the corner and start, like he actually needs to win the game at some point himself. And even here at 12 life, he has a big enough board that it's really, really hard for the Dragon Warrior to come back from something like this.
Exactly. Luckily he's able to get the 3 damage off of the Blackwing Corruptor here.
Yeah,
withdrawing that Astro Drake. But
killing
still,
the big
he cannot
hunter
do
off.
anything. He cannot do much more. And he chooses not to attack with his weapon this turn anyway.
Yeah, Faceless Shambler picked up from Gaara too means that he gets essentially another copy of the Mountain Giant in play. And since Executor was nerfed from the Control Warrior decks, it has not had that much impact on, because that deck doesn't really care if Execute is 1 or 2 mana. But for these tempo type of decks, the difference between 1 and 2 mana is huge. So lately, Dragon Warrior had to cut Execute from their decks, which means that the weakness of Dragon Warrior these days is actually that it doesn't have good answers to big minions like Mountain Giant. And we see Gaara completely capitalize on that and just winning the game here with the Mountain Giant.
And there we go, MrYagut just concedes from a bad draw from the Drake.
Yeah. So that's game 1, goes to Gaara. What it looked like from the draw, MrYagut had not really built his Dragon Warrior in a way that it would be able to beat Reno Lock. So I think that's kind of expected from him to lose that matchup. But you see him now queue up with a matchup that's
Which is Shaman.
Actually not that much better. Shaman is not that great against Reno Lock these days. The thing is that back in the day, you usually run Doomhammer in Shaman, which still makes a huge difference. And also Flame Reader Faces was much better because Blast Crystal Potion did not exist. But we see Gaara with the build that had packed Big Game Hunter, and if he has Big Game Hunter, I'm kind of assuming that there's a Blast Crystal Potion in there. And with those 2 tech cards in the deck, the Shaman deck just gets way worse. It runs out of damage real quick. And if there's like a Reno to heal for even like, say, 15 life, that's very, very hard for Shaman to come back from.
But what do you think Gaara having to life tap the second turn there?
It's not that backbreaking. Back in the day, it was very, very relevant because you didn't have that many ways to get back from behind. But these days, you have Hellfire, you have Kazakus that can get you the 4 damage into everything potion. There are just like so many ways for the Renlock to clear the board. Especially when Shaman these days are also relying on smaller minions, as in Patches and Southsea deckhand.
Which we most likely will see this turn too.
Yeah, it's its own play really. He can decide to play it later together with the Spirit Claws, but I think that's very greedy.
Exactly.
This is just the way. Actually, I've been playing a lot of aggro Shaman lately, and the way I've been winning the matchup is by actually killing them before they can play Reno. So by winning it on turn 5.
Exactly. I felt the same thing today.
And it's
I played
actually
a couple of games before I got here.
Yeah. And it's actually kind of sad that that's the way that Shaman has to win that this
Kill them
matchup
before
these
they can
days.
play Reno. That's how you win.
Either that or just like play a 7/7 and they can't answer it. But seeing how Gaara, like MrYagut saw the Big Game Hunter game 1, so he should be prepared for several answers to the 7/7.
And what in this position? Of course, you want to kill Bran before you can get any kind of value out of it. Do you lightning bolt it, or do you just trade and?
I think actually, if it gets Spellpower Totem, this is a great
That
Spirit
is a
Claws
good
turn.
roll. Good play, MrYagut.
Yeah, exactly.
Being able to roll that spell power right there.
Yagut, you played that perfectly. That was amazing.
I would never be able to execute that.
Me neither. Never lucky, etc. No, but this is actually, I think that was very relevant for Yagut to be able to have a shot in this game. This way, we don't see Reno picked up for Gaara yet, so, and MrYagut actually has a really good hand. With the Flame Reaper Faceless, the next turn he's going to have free mana to be able to cast the Feral Spirits, and with no heal for, well, 30 as Reno Jackson is, I think Yagut is in a good spot here in what I would say a somewhat unfavorable matchup.
Exactly, and there's the Ooze out, and MrYagut knows about the Big Game Hunter for Gaara.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if he's gonna play the Flame with Faceless here.
I actually want to talk about one big thing. The big thing is not that he knows about Big Game Hunter, but the big thing is that Gaara had 4 mana on this turn. He decided to play the Acidic Swamp Boost that cost 2 mana, but did not decide to life tap. He has 2 mana to spare and did not life tap.
He's saving his health total here.
Yeah, okay, so I'm getting a bit deep here, but Yagut knows that Gaara knows that Yagut is going into 4 mana, which is the turn where usually the 7/7 comes down.
Exactly.
And if it doesn't life tap on his turn 4 when your opponent is going to the Flame Reaper Faceless turn, that probably means that he has an answer to the Flame Reaper Faceless in play.
And even though if Gaara were to top deck Reno this turn, he wouldn't be able to play because he already played his coin. And so he's going for Kazakas and a 1 mana spell. What do you do? Do you just freeze the biggest minion, or what?
You can't really decide which minion you freeze here because it's freeze a random minion of the Kazakas. He's probably hoping for the 3 damage and the 4 armor one, because that's the one that helps you stabilize the board the most. And you're actually just in really bad shape here as Gaara from the beginning, since you don't have Reno in hand.
Yeah, exactly.
So from here on, you kind of just have to play to your outs and hope that you're gonna draw Reno sometime soon. But he actually doesn't get any of like the good options from the potion, as far as I can tell. But he can only give his minions...
He goes for the card draw.
Yeah, exactly. Just like some health and
There's
some card
Twisting
draw.
Nether. That's not Reno. So this does not look good.
Exactly.
And the first games goes to MrYagut. No, the second game, I mean. I'm sorry.
Yeah, second game. But Yagut really needed to win this matchup.
That is true.
This is not a great matchup for the Shaman. to begin with,
That's
and
true.
I think YaGut, like looking how he queued up the Shaman this game, it seems like he was kind of reliant on having the Dragon Warrior win against the Renalog, but his second best shot was the Shaman, and luckily it got there. Like it would have been disastrous for YaGut if it didn't win with the Shaman versus the Renalog.
That is true.
But Shaman is the kind of deck that has very high free win potential. It can just get, like, if it gets their nut draw, it...
That is true, because no matter what kind of Shaman you play, if you have the early game, you pretty much have the whole game. They have too many good cards, but now we're going to see the Shaman versus the Warrior. And Gaara here, swapping out his patches with a Drake, which is a good play, in my opinion.
I would not want to have patches in my open... I'm actually... At this point, I played so much Hearthstone, like whenever I see patches in my starting hand, I'm like, thank God, I'm not going to have it in my opener here.
But then you draw it. That's the thing. But
Yeah,
MrYagut did a good play here and did not have it in his opening hand or draw it the first turn, so that's good for him. And Gaara opening with the Fiery War Axe here, which for some reason Warriors always seem to have, either turn 1 or turn 2.
It's just the sky is blue, birds fly, Warriors have War Axe on 2.
And MrYagut's Healing Totem not doing much here. I guess you much rather would have it being a Taunt Totem or anything but the Healing Totem, I guess.
I think what MrYagut would much rather do is to not hero power on 2. But say play Totem Golem, the most dominant 2-drop that
will ever exist in Hearthstone, hopefully, I guess.
Mad Scientist would like to have a word with you.
That's true.
But it just that question is close, it speaks a lot to Totem Golem.
But how is MrYagut gonna answer this Frothing Berserker, though?
Well, I see the coin card and Jade Lightning. And that seems like a pretty efficient way. You can also decide to go with... you can't even South the deckhand because you don't have a weapon in hand. So
you could do Flame Tongue. No, but you don't have the weapon, that's right. You have to go for the coin and Jade Lightning, yeah.
I just think that the coin Jade Lightning here is the best you can do. You have Lightning Bolt Maelstrom Portal as well as an option, or Flame
YOLO
Tongue,
the Spell Power Totem and do it.
No, you're just like that confident, like, please, I'm MrYagut. I know how to roll these 1 in 3 Spell Power Totems. I actually don't even know if like Spell Power Totem is that much more better than just coin Jade Lightning.
No, you just coin it. You get a body on the board as well, so why not?
Yeah, that's. I actually talked to VLPS on this about this on last cast. Is that Shaman uses the Jade Golem in such a different way than other classes do.
He's going for the Lightning Ball here, actually.
Yeah, it looks like, and he gets a pretty good one at that.
That's
He gets the Dust Devil, which just look together with this Flame Tongue Totem, we can get in for a serious amount of damage.
That is true. That if he, well, of course he will clear it, hopefully, but if not, there's still 6 damage to the face.
Yeah, but okay. So what I said is that Shaman. Whereas like Druid and what's the other class that uses Jade Golems? It's Druid, Shaman, and I wish I remember.
Druid, Shaman, and what? What are you reaching for here?
The last class that uses, there are 3 classes for each mechanic, and Jade Golems are Shaman,
Druid, and Rogue.
Rogue, right?
Yeah.
The way that Shaman uses them compared to the Rogue and Druid.
It's just as an extra bonus. For me, it's just an extra bonus getting the Jades,
but like,
really.
Rogue and Druid wants to build as big Jade Golems as possible. They want to make them huge and win the game with the Jade Golems. But Shaman, instead...
it's just a bonus. Like, the biggest one you get is pretty much an 8/8, and not bigger than that.
Well, you don't even get an 8/8. Like, I've won games where I get, like, my Jade Golems 2/2s, but I just utilize my Flame Tongue Totem to, like, trade up into, like, my opponent's huge minions. And that's the way I win the game. Whereas the Druid is just trying to like snowball the game with like the Jade Idols with the Jade Spirits together with the Bran or Jade Behemoth. But Shaman uses the cards very, very differently, which I think is very interesting that the same mechanic can play out in very different ways between different classes.
Of course, yeah, because when I've been playing Shaman, at least this season, I've been playing more kind of a control Shaman, where the Jade is pretty much just a bonus. I mean, I like the Jade Lightning for dealing 4 damage because that can kill off pretty much any annoying mid-game minion that you will need.
Jade Lightning is...
And you get a body for it. Yeah. And if you be playing your, like the Jade weapon, the Chitu.
The claws.
Yeah. If you've been playing them too, it's just even a bigger minion. So, I mean, I think it's a good card no matter what.
Exactly. But then again, this is kind of the reason why Dragon Warrior is one of the hard counters to Shaman.
Anything, really.
Actually, Dragon Warrior has like quite a lot of bad matchups. Like, say, Rogue, for example, is a terrible matchup for Dragon Warrior. But this is the reason why Shaman is so bad against it, because Dragon Warrior has always had a case of it just uses the most undercosted minions in the entire game, whereas Shaman kind of has to build the big minions up. Like, you play the most the undercosted minion at turn 4, which is your 4 mana 7/7. But at that point, your opponent might still just have like a Alex Ross's champion, a Frothing Berserker that's huge. You know, there's just like so many things that the opponent can have just like favorably trade into it. The way that the Shaman scales with like super small minions, and then they get really big, whereas the Warriors minions start out like pretty undercosted, but still pretty small.
Yeah, but they just keep getting better and better, right?
Exactly.
And especially when they get on a low health total as well.
Yeah.
You have some pretty nasty spells that all of a sudden come. MrYagut just concedes this.
Yeah.
I would have done the same. There's no way you can get back from that, really.
No.
There's nothing you could have drawn that would help you there.
Even though he has the 4 mana 7/7, that's absolutely not enough to get back against a board like that.
No. You should have had it way earlier.
Yeah, we're going into game 4 instead. It's going to be Dragon Warrior versus Yagut's Arena Lock instead. So this is a matchup we've seen the Arena Lock. No, I mean the Dragon Warrior.
There's Dirty Rat though.
Dirty Rat's actually one of the more interesting cards.
Yeah, I cannot decide if I think it's a good card or a bad card because I haven't been playing it much myself. But I just like if you could draw Reno out of their hand or anything like any of the Enzoth, whatever, you know, just drawing that out without them getting the value of the card at all.
Yeah, it's actually a great card. It's an amazing card, but not the way you think about it.
He's throwing it away, actually.
Yeah, because it's not the early game card. You look at it, it's 2 mana, it's 2/6. Like, it's going to be bigger than anything that your opponent is being able to play at that time.
And especially playing against Warrior here.
Yeah. But still it's not good enough because in the early game there's so much risk of drawing out like a Draconid Crusher or a Curator. And like even Curator at that point is not that great. But what makes the card so great is that you're able to... It's one of the few cards in Hearthstone that's able to interact with your opponent's turn on your turn.
Yeah.
The only card I've really seen to be able to do that in such a direct way before is Loatheb, and that was only for 1 turn, whereas Dirty Rat drags out a card from your opponent's hand immediately.
Yeah, it messes up their whole plan.
Exactly.
If you get lucky with it, of course.
We see Gaara here with the happy Feast of Winter Veil. As soon as Yagut Acidic Swamp Boost, the 1/3 weapon from Enzoth's first mate, and Gaara
just play the War Axe.
immediately. Oh no, that was not just a played War Axe, that was a top decked War Axe.
Exactly.
The only way that card is supposed to be played.
It's just Gaara asserting dominance right there. Exactly. What would you do in this situation, though, if you're MrYagut? I mean, like, it's turn 3 for you, and you're already down at 19 health. What do you do?
Well, welcome to the world of patches. This is how it goes.
And there's still no Reno on hand, and he's just gonna have to hope that he draws it soon.
The best play you do have is to coin the Twilight Drake. At this stage, it's gonna be a 4/5 if I count correctly.
Yes.
No, it's actually gonna be a 4/6. But even if you do that, like just Small Time Buccaneer plus War Axe trades perfectly into that, and your opponent can hit you for 6 in the face with the
But being in Gaara's position, would you just ignore the Twilight Drake and just hit face? I mean, you're so close. Why not just keep on going?
If you just hit face in that situation, as Gaara, you're weak to things like Hellfire, Mind Control Tech. even like Demon Ref, Mortal Coil. You open yourself up to a lot of things, so I think it's better to just go face. But we see Yagut instead being a little bit more conservative. I think he's relying a little bit more on the top of his deck with this play.
And there he got
just coining Twilight Drake.
Pretty nice taunt there too.
Yeah, this is one of the... So I see a lot of people not play Soulfire in their Venlock decks, but this is like one of the reasons why I like Soulfire the most, because you're able to have these kind of swing turns with Soulfire plus, like say a 4-drop or a 3-drop. And that's like one of the good things I like about it, but instead we see Yagut just go for the Twilight Drake and probably thinking that my opponent has 2 minions in place, probably gonna play a third one, and that way I can play second rate Bruiser next turn and stabilize even better versus that. Although he is at a very, very risky life total here.
That is true, and he still haven't seen Reno at all. And now his coin is away as well, so next turn he won't be able to play it anyway.
But I think I don't think that Yagut has enough damage. I don't think that Gaara has enough damage that he will be able to finish this game before Reno comes down anyway. And Yagut kind of knows that. If he would be playing against Pirate Warrior instead, Gaara would just... Yagut would know that there's a lot of damage potential from the deck. But Dragon Warrior actually does not... Dragon Warrior is relying more on the big minions than... Greenlock is, and therefore Yagut knows that at this stage of the game he is kind of safe. He will survive before Reno comes down.
Doomsayer doesn't do much unless you plan to put it down with the taunt.
I actually think that the taunt plus Doomsayer is an amazing play here. Without the Emperor Farson in hand, or say something like Reno Jackson, I don't think it would be a good play at all. But this way Gaara has to grind through a lot of damage and also has to deal with a follow-up Emperor Farsan. And anyone that has ever played Hearthstone knows that a Farsan that stays in play for more than one turn is almost like unbeatable.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he put Gaara in an awkward position here. He has the activated Blackwing Corruptor, making up for a pretty clean trade, I guess. But still, he cannot deal with the 4/5.
Yeah, it still doesn't get through the second rate Bruiser. But this is still the thing why I would like to see Yagut play the Doomsayer last turn. It's because...
There's Reno though.
Never
just
mind.
in time.
Yagut
what
is
a top deck.
Just a stone cold
Well played,
master.
MrYagut.
Yeah.
Slow applause for that one.
Absolutely. But okay, on a more serious note here, Reno Jackson, obviously, I don't think that anyone can tell me that Reno Jackson is the best possible top deck that Yagut could get here. But I would like to see the Doomsayer next turn, just because turn 5 from the Dragon War is such a power turn. That's where you get your Azure Drakes or your Blackwing Corruptor, where it's like most of your most powerful cards in your entire deck. And if you play Doomsayer on next turn, on last turn, your opponent does not get to play their Blackwing Corruptor on time, and you get to stabilize the board that way. But considering that Reno Jackson at top, this play is definitely working out. But I think that from MrYagut's side, I would definitely play the Doomsayer last turn and follow it up with
because
Emperor.
MrYagut has to win this game. If he doesn't win this game, he's out, right?
Yeah.
He's already 3-1 against Gaara then.
Exactly.
So he's going all in on this.
By the looks of this, I would...
That's not what Gaara was looking for, I guess.
Gaara is just gonna push 6 to face here. He's actually setting up lethal here with a Fiery War Axe next turn. And I think seeing how MrYagut did not play Reno last turn, he's putting Yagut on the read that, well, he doesn't have Reno. And this is just... I would not be surprised if Gaara concede here. Because he played this game as thought as Yagut did not have Reno, but turns out he did.
But knowing Gaara, I don't think he will give up just yet. He's gonna fight until the end.
I mean, it's a tournament, right? You should never really concede.
That is true. There's Sagas too. What would you do in this position?
Uh,
You cannot get. You're not able to clear the board, right? Yeah, that's right.
You're at 28 life. You can.
You can do
probably
whatever you
just
want.
Click cards randomly, and you would still win this game as Renalog.
Exactly.
I don't think there is much room to screw up here from Yagut. We're still gonna see it play it out.
There's Merlington though.
Yeah, Sir Finley is one of these cards that, even though if you're playing a bad matchup, just switching your hero power can have a huge impact on your game.
Big,
for example, like Pirate Warriors vs Priest is a terrible matchup as the Pirate Warrior, but if you get life tap from Finley, that can swing the matchup entirely. Like all of a sudden you can keep up with your Priest card advantage.
But he's not getting life tap here. He has to choose between Totems, Healing, and Fire Blast.
And also, even at this point, though life tap is probably the best you could look for, he's not like. The Renalog has started to put pressure on Gaara instead of the other way around, and that's just a spot you can almost never come back from.
He's going for the heal here.
Yeah, and you know, like in a matchup as this, where it's like doesn't come down to a race at all, and very rarely even the size of the minions, that's not a hero power you want to make. Like, Gaara couldn't care less about actually healing his face here. We see here.
What do you do here, though? It's going for Kasakas and a 5 mana.
Yeah, Kasakas in the 5 mana is probably the best option to have. If you get the 4 damage to each minion, that's huge. But we actually see a good miss on this, which means that Gaara is able to build a board with no board sweep for Yagut in hand, no Twisting Nether, there's no Shadow Flame, nothing like that. So, and this is the most common way as any other deck to win versus Renalog, that you just build a big enough board that the healing effects from Reno doesn't matter even all that much.
So what would you do here now? Would you just play the 6-drop and?
The 6-drop is so awkward after you play Kasakus. If the plan was to play the 6-6 this turn, you'd have done it first. So I'm pretty sure that Yagut was going for the 4 damage to everything mode that you can get from Kasakus. And we discussed this a little bit downstairs, and I'm pretty sure the other people, I'm not on the map myself, I have to admit, but people told me that it was like a little bit under 50% to get like one certain mode from Kasakus every potion, or 5 mana and 10 potion, because the 1 mana potion does not have the polymorph mode involved. You know, math. So I think Yagut was definitely going for him getting the certain 4 damage to everything mode.
But he did not, and here he's gonna be able to do absolutely whatever he wants. Getting 2 6/6s and one of them with taunt.
Yeah,
which makes it a lot more difficult for Gaara. And he gives
we
up,
stated earlier, the big weakness to as any sort of temp warrior these days is that it doesn't have good efficient answers to big minions. And playing double 6/6 on an empty board, that's not a board that any warrior actually comes back from these days. So we're going to see them walk into game 5 in a very, very good series so far.
Exactly. And Gaara is bringing the Paladin. He brought this Paladin to the last tournament he was in, Esports Superstars, also here in Germany. He was the only one in the entire tournament that brought Paladin. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Gaara is the only one bringing Paladin to this tournament as well.
I would not be surprised. I did not expect, when I prepared for this tournament, I'll admit, I have not play tested a single game against Paladin before this event. Not a single game against Paladin, not a single game against Hunter.
If this is the same one that he brought to the last tournament, there should be an anything in it. If it is, I'm not sure because I haven't not seen the deck lists at all for this tournament. But there is a Paladin.
So last weekend I was playing a major event in Malaysia, and I was talking to some people that said that one of the more impressive decks they've had in testing had been Anything Paladin with Finia.
Ooh, Doomsday here for MrYagut. Would you play it or would you just have on the peddler?
I assume that Yagut has watched Gaara's past
He's
matches.
left tapping actually. Okay.
And knows that this is a control paladin. I guess a control paladin I would never play Doomsday on turn 2. And maybe on this turn when your opponent has already played a minion, but this is actually one of the matchups where I think that Gaara brought this deck to be able to counter Renalog.
Would you? No, okay, he's live tapping again. But would you ever play peddler in this
if I had a coin,
situation?
If I had coin, I would definitely play peddler as Yagut. But off coin, I'm much more inclined to play the Mountain Giant on turn 4. And if I play Peddler on turn 3, I would not be able to do that. So I think just playing your 8/8 on turn 4 is more important than playing a Peddler on turn 3.
Yeah.
Actually, we see Gaara here playing around a little bit of Yagut's deck by attacking the 1/1 into the 1/8, which might look worthless.
Kind of weird for most people.
Exactly, but Gaara is well aware of the cards that MrYagut plays in his deck, and it's actually a great attack just to be a little less weak against the cards that a Renalog could pack.
Stabbing the third game in a row. No, third turn in a row. Putting down the Doomsayer here.
Yeah, and this is a spot where all Yagut is looking for is getting the initiative on the board. Having to, if Gaara, like the anything deck is great at playing the game in a spot where it gets to decide the tempo of the game. If it gets to play like, if Yagut plays a threat and Gaara plays an answer, Yagut plays a threat, Gaara plays another answer, that's a great spot for the Paladin. Paladins are very happy to play that game. But by playing the Doomsayer, Yagut is deciding that, hey, I'm the one that's asking the questions, and
he's being the big boss.
Exactly. And we see even Yagut can follow this up with, say, Sylvanas or Emperor even.
Yeah, but actually, I mean, when you have this many cards on your hand, why wouldn't you play Emperor next turn?
Yeah, Emperor on a board like
so
this
much value out of that one card. Gaara is thinking long and hard about this, though.
I'm actually really happy to see Gaara bring Paladin to this tournament, because it was not a deck that expected to see at all. It means that there's still room for innovation in this kind of format. People say that there's a new set coming out, but the format's already figured out, but I don't think that's the case at all. I think
not at all.
I think there's so much room for people to improve their decks.
Absolutely.
And I would not be surprised if you see in a week or two that this Paladin deck was a huge part of the meta game. Because the reason why this Paladin deck has not been that good has become Pirate War has been the biggest and
it's just been so good, because it's so good against most of all of the control decks that has been played.
Yeah.
So if you want to hit Legend fast, everyone just keep playing aggressive warrior decks, hitting Legend pretty fast. But I think it's still going to change a lot, really.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the expansions where we're going to see the most change over the longest period of time, really.
I think this is just one of the best expansions of Hearthstone ever.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's just so much more. It brings so much, because if you're looking at, for example, the Hunters, that we haven't seen anything at all.
Okay, I'm actually pretty sad about that. So
yeah,
can you please be
most of the cards that they got were oh, this is gonna be great, but then you start playing it, it's no, it doesn't work at all.
You're making me very sad right now, Amanda.
I'm pretty sad too. Don't get me wrong, I'm sad too, but maybe we will see a little breakthrough.
I just want to take this moment while we're at it to shout out to my babe, Cloaked Huntress. I know you're still here in the standard format. I still love you. I have not forgotten you.
Oh, goodness.
Please come back.
MrYagut getting 2 ticks out of Emperor here. That's huge, though.
Amanda, please, I'm talking to Cloaked Huntress here.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're gonna just keep talking to your babe. I'll be silent.
Okay, good. We need some alone time. Okay, but Yagut just got the second tick of Emperor off. And if
Huge.
anyone in chat has ever played Hearthstone before, you know how big of a deal that is.
You
Why-
have free taunt givers. You
Why-
have a free you have a free heal even. And you have not only but look at the card on the left from MrYagut for 3 mana.
Your entire combo.
So sick.
You're so sick. Hashtag Elky. Your entire combo right now is 7 mana, which means if
No, he can play it. He can play it this turn if you only had all the cards. He could play.
exactly.
He could have done 20 damage this turn.
If
So
it draws
sick.
power and just 7 mana for 20 damage. So if anyone in chat does not know the combo from Greenlock, the Greenlock usually closes out the game with having Leroy Jenkins powered up by Powerwhelming and Faceless Manipulation on the Leroy Jenkins for 20 damage. And right now, MrYagut has that damage combo down to 7 mana, which means that if Gaara ever gets below 20 health, he has to be very afraid of that possibility.
Yep. And then we'll see what will MrYagut do for the rest of this turn. Would you just play Sylvanas here?
I guess so. Like
You get it for 4 mana, so why not? It's still a big body.
In this matchup, yeah.
Oh, he's going for the taunt. Okay.
Usually, Greenlock is not the aggressor in a matchup like this, but against anything Paladin, this is actually one of the few matchups where Yagut actually has to be the one killing their opponent. But in most other matchups, Greenlock just tries to survive as long as possible, and then it wins the game somehow. It doesn't really matter how.
And this is the last game that we're in, so whoever wins this game is conceding into the group stages. So that's good.
Yeah. I actually would say that Gaara is in a very tough position here. Let's see here.
Like, we must be
Also,
kind of close to some kind of lethal here. So that's...
With Soulfight Run, we have 16 damage from hand. And on board, we have 8 plus
24 that I can count.
That is just 6
in
damage of lethal.
Yeah.
If you just start going face from here,
Don't you deal with anything from the board, though?
The thing is that we already seen one of the equality clears, like the equality wild pyromancers from Gaara.
Yeah, but he hasn't seen any of the big heals.
None of the big heals, but as long as you just go face and have a big enough board, how afraid are you of the big heals, really?
This one pretty much guarantees him lethal for next turn, unless Gaara chooses to heal a lot.
Yeah, 10 mana
Am I
card.
right? Because that's 12. That's a lot of damage next turn.
This
if he
is
gets
a
the
lot of
combo in
damage.
and everything.
Just that Gaara has to fear the at least 20 damage from hand from MrYagut at any stage in the game. Like, say, if you play against any deck, Amanda, and you're at 25 health, don't you feel pretty confident, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
playing
Like, the thing is, you never know.
Yeah, playing against Greenlock with that has gotten 2 Emperor ticks off, you can never feel safe. And that's one of the big strengths of the deck. And even though Gaara probably brought this deck to try to counter the Greenlocks, there are some very, very powerful cards.
Like, is it really to counter the Reno decks?
Yes.
Or is it just to have something in particular that no one else focuses on?
I can almost assure you that
It is to counter the Reno
Gaara
decks.
brought this deck to counter the Greenlocks.
Okay.
It's just these are historically the decks that Greenlock had a lot of trouble against. The decks that try to they don't really rely on direct burst damage, but instead trying to build enough board. Just like anything, it just like builds a giant board in itself. So
He's fishing for PO?
yeah, if he wants PO, he is lethal here. But
It's not, though.
he can actually tap for it. If he taps into PO, he has lethal.
That's 7
No,
so
wait,
far. Yeah, he still has the combo plus
actually,
over.
yeah,
That's
but
second, so
it's
that's
actually
not it.
It's
Okay.
1 damage of lethal. But But still, there shouldn't be enough. With as the examples and the vendor, there shouldn't be any lethal
pretty much
possibility
nothing
for
that can
Gaara.
stop him here.
And this is also one of the weaknesses we've seen from the Anything Paladin, is that it's very, very easy. Since your win condition is relying on a 10 mana card, it's super easy as the opponent to calculate the damage potential you have. Because, well, if you play your burst card, that's your entire turn. You can't
And
do
Gaara
anything else.
is aware of the Emperor being down for 2 turns for MrYagut. Which means, and he's seen that at least the 3 cards to the left has been in his hand, or the 4 cards really has been in his hand for a long time, and he knows that they are 2 mana discounted, all of them.
Yeah.
Which can be pretty devastating, really.
I actually have not asked the cast, but I'm pretty sure we get to keep notes of this kind of stuff, and if Gaara is allowed to do that, he knows that all of these cards have been in Yagut's hand for a very, very long time.
Yes.
And let's see
and
here.
this
How much
is
I assume
this is lethal.
because Yagut is reaching for his Leroy immediately.
Yes, he has been thinking about this for a long time, and all of a sudden you have 2 Leroys plus 8 damage on the board from before. Even a Soulfire and a Hellfire just to assert dominance, and here you go. MrYagut take this game. 3-2.
Yeah, Gaara is knocked out of this tournament, it seems, and Yagut has one more shot to play against the winner of... I'm actually not sure.
We didn't study that before we got here.
But I'm not sure if the winners match have been decided already. But Yagut at least is still in this tournament, and Gaara sadly knocked out.
Yes. This is just... Reno Warlock has been very, very present this whole meta, really.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen much of Paladin, and I guess this just proves that maybe you should bring Reno Lock instead of Paladin.
Yeah, I've been preparing for this event together with Uskaka and Powder, and both those people have been very, very... They're like, okay, so the one thing you have to think about is that Reno Lock is probably the absolute best deck in that in the format right
And not only is it a very good one, but because of it being Reno and you only bring 1 copy of each card, that means there's so many tweaks and switches that you can do to this deck for it targeting specific kind of
right. It's
opponents.
Like if you play against a deck that only has 1-offs, it's the enter deck. You can go up against anything.
Exactly. It's just so good. It's pretty much everything.
We even saw Life Coach and JJ in last weekend's tournament in Germany. That they did play Patches and Bloodseal Corsair in Green Log, for example.
You can put Patches in any deck, really.
Patches is just absurd on its own, but that speaks for Green Log, like how many things you can do with the deck, and like how much you can build a deck to counter the meta game. We even saw Gaara here with Big Game Hunter in his Reno Log.
Exactly.
Which is a card you have not seen almost at all. Since
not in a long time. But anyway, that's it for this series. And MrYagut takes it 3-2.
And the next match of the series, or of the group, is actually going on the main stream. So if you're watching this stream, I totally advise you to head to twitch.tv/taketv
_HeyJess.
Exactly what she said. So,
to get the last one from this group, I guess.
Yeah, gonna be a very interesting match. It's Yagut versus whoever lost in the winners bracket.
Yes. And so go get that. Go see it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. So
we're gonna watch it at least.
Absolutely. So thank you all for watching. We'll be back for the winners match. See you in a bit.